WNEM TV5 Evening Extra is brought to you by the Law Office of Carol Thomas.
Thanks for tuning in to TV5 Evening Extra. A local teen is hoping to inspire her peers to volunteer with a new nonprofit encouraging young people to get involved in their community.
TV5's Zane Omer spoke with the teen and her mother on how the Next Gen Kindness Foundation is making a difference.
I love helping other people.
Eliana Galgosi has been volunteering since she was 4 years old.
Simple things like tying a blanket or just going and writing a note. And I kind of just felt like over time, I just kind of felt like helping other people is something that I'm passionate about.
Now she's hoping to spark the same passion for service in other kids and teens.
I feel like there's a lot of adults helping kids. I don't feel like there's a lot of kids helping kids, so that's kind of like the big inspiration for Next Gen Kindness.
At 15 years old, Galgosi is the co-founder of the Next Gen Kindness Foundation. Her mother, Arissa, is the president of the nonprofit.
There are two pillars to our mission. One is to help and encourage and motivate volunteering at a very young age. The other pillar is to help older kids who are in middle school and high school to be involved in the community.
From fundraisers to supply drives, the group gathers with other nonprofit leaders every month to figure out their needs and how they can help.
I've learned to connect with other people, how to talk to new people as well.
And it's not just Galgosi getting involved. Next Gen Kindness Clubs have been created at Fenton High School and middle school.
I did do a lot when I was younger with my mom. We did soup kitchens and volunteer at different places and all that stuff. But this has really, I guess, opened my eyes to do a lot more and help a lot more of where I can.
The students making a difference not only in the community.
A little bit you do goes a long way. You can help a lot of people with just one small action that you do.
But inspiring a positive change in future generations through education, service, and compassion.
My favorite part is seeing other people happy and also seeing what else they've done to help other people.
Honestly, as a mom, it's a proud moment. I love it. I love seeing her help other kids. I grew up very, very poor, so for us it's a huge accomplishment, and I love seeing how it impacts her to help other kids.
In Fenton, Zane Omer, WNEM TV5.
Next Gen Kindness is looking to grow. If you'd like to get involved or start a chapter at your school district, we'll have a link with more information on our website, WNEM.com.
And winter storm watches have been issued for parts of the TV5 viewing area for a wintry mix that could be coming through on Wednesday. There are still some details that need to be worked out, mainly the position of the storm track. Some of this could shift a little bit to the north or south, but where the watches are right now, the main concern is potential icing between about 1/10 to 1/4 of an inch of ice, or if things cool off enough, potentially snow and sleet instead, which could be up to about 2 inches, or we could see a variety of both. It's one of those messy winter systems that will be entirely dependent on temperature, so want you to know all possibilities, but I think icing is the main concern. Our temperatures around the area tonight are not conducive to ice. Upper 40s to low 50s in our warmest locations. Flint and Saginaw both at 52, as well as Caro. Owasso is at 53 and Lapeer is at 54. Those temperatures will cool off very slowly tonight. Southwesterly winds about 5 to 15 miles per hour, and downtown Flint ending the day with some sunshine on the left-hand side of your screen. Not much at this point, but still there's a little bit out there tonight. As far as your forecast goes with visibility, we have about 2 miles in Oscoda. That's the only sensor that is lower for the time being, but we fast forward into the morning and we do have areas that are falling to around 1/4 of a mile or less. And so just like the last several mornings, I think we'll have fog to deal with again tomorrow. First alert pinpoint Doppler radar shows dry conditions for now. As we go through the rest of the night, expect clouds and fog to fill back in. Tomorrow, much more gray than what we've been experiencing the last couple of days. Your forecast for the rest of the week coming up.
Thank you, Chris. A man is dead, and Saginaw police need your help to find his killer. Investigators say they were called to Fairfax Street just north of Weber for reports of a shooting this morning. That's where they found a 31-year-old man dead inside his car. Despite life-saving measures, he died at the scene. Police have not yet identified him. Stay with TV5 for updates.
In Sanilac County, investigators are working to determine the cause of a house fire that left a 79-year-old man dead. The sheriff's office says the fire broke out early Friday morning on North Sandusky Road in Custer Township. The fire department says the home was fully engulfed when they arrived, with the 79-year-old man and 5 others inside. Firefighters found the 79-year-old man dead inside the home. 2 women were transported to a nearby hospital for treatment. The other 3 were not injured. A former corrections officer will spend less than a year in jail for smuggling drugs into the prison in St. Louis. In 2022, the Department of Corrections contacted the Bay Area Narcotics Enforcement Team because they believed Officer Kernef Jackson was smuggling drugs and other contraband into the prison. He was busted in 2023 when state police pulled him over in Saginaw County and found multiple drugs and a gun in his vehicle. Jackson pleaded guilty and was sentenced to 300 days in jail and 3 years of probation. Jackson was sentenced in Midland County because his brother is a judge in Saginaw County, and all county judges recused themselves from the case.
A President's Day protest outside Saginaw City Hall for the group Fight for Democracy Mid-Michigan. It's been exactly 1 year since the group formed, and since then, the organization has held more than 50 protests across Saginaw County.
Our message is fight for democracy, but it changes as we get news of everything going on. So obviously, you know, ICE, we don't want ICE in Michigan. It could be tariffs. It could be, well, the president gives us an opening for quite a few things.
The protest comes as Congress is on recess and the Department of Homeland Security is shut down. ICE and Border Patrol are not affected because they're already funded through a law signed in July. Funeral services have been announced for the Flint police officer who died by suicide last week. Officer Charles Redmond was found dead Sunday, February 8th outside Trinity Assembly of God Church in Mount Morris Township. Services will be held Thursday morning with the visitation at 10 at First Presbyterian Church, followed by the service at 11. The Flint Downtown Development Authority is warning drivers of increased traffic throughout downtown.
In Midland, the Grace A. Dow Memorial Library is closed this week for renovations. Phone services are still available tomorrow through Thursday from 9 to 5 and Friday from 10 to 5. Scheduled programs will go on as planned. Guests are asked to enter the library through the auditorium. An open house for the reopening event is scheduled for next Monday.
Tomorrow, millions around the world will celebrate the Lunar New Year.
And in Midland, you can mark the first new moon of the calendar, the cultural celebration, after the break.
Plus, the city of Flint is inviting seniors to another appreciation brunch. Still ahead, the resources available and when seniors can get a free meal.
Developing tonight, a woman missing for several weeks from the thumb has been found dead. Shanna Umbright was 36 years old and was last seen on January 23rd before her body was discovered on Saturday.
TV5's James Felton went to Harbor Beach to talk with her best friend, who says she's still trying to process this immense loss.
Just kind of on autopilot, to be honest with you. Most devastating thing I've ever been through.
Michelle Dason tells us Shanna Umbright was her best friend. Umbright was found dead on Saturday. She had been missing since January 23rd, the last day Dason was able to speak with her.
She was supposed to come over to my house that night. She didn't call, but right before I left work that day, I told her that I loved her and I'll see you later. And she said, okay, I love you, and I'll see you later. And that was the last conversation that we had.
Dason and Umbright worked together at the subway in Harbor Beach. They found a mutual connection through being moms.
She was amazing. She was the best friend anyone could ever ask for. She's a beautiful mother. Always wanted to just be loved. Just a happy person. Never had a bad day. Never missed work. The most loyal employee you could ever ask for. There's a huge hole in my heart for her, and I miss her.
Harbor Beach police say they are investigating Umbright's death. Meanwhile, a family and community is mourning the loss of one of their own.
My heart breaks for you guys. I couldn't imagine. I just couldn't imagine any of it. But I love you all, and I pray for you every day. And she will always be in our heart.
We did reach out to the police chief for comment. We are still waiting to hear back. An officer with the police department did say that updates would be posted to the Harbor Beach Police Department Facebook page. Reporting in Huron County, James Felton, WNEM TV5.
There is a GoFundMe for her family. You'll find it in the Monday Hot Links section on our website, WNEM.com. Tomorrow, Asian cultures around the world will mark the first new moon of the year. And this weekend, you can join Midland as the city celebrates. The fourth annual Lunar New Year event highlights the cultural traditions and diversity of the Great Lakes Bay region, featuring performances, exhibits, vendors, and food from multiple cultures. Saturday's Lunar New Year celebration is from 2 to 6 at the Greater Midland Community Center.
If you missed Flint's Senior Appreciation Brunch, you have another opportunity this week. Seniors are invited to the celebration Thursday at the Mays Senior and Community Center. Along with the meal, the free event will also serve as a resource fair with local services, including the Food Bank of Eastern Michigan, Genesee Health Plan, Consumers Energy, and more. Thursday's Senior Appreciation Brunch at the Mays Senior and Community Center runs from 10 to 2.
The snow melting away is a welcome sight to many, but it can be miserable to some.
It can irritate your respiratory system and make many feel very sick. TV5's Zane Omer tells us how.
It's feeling more like spring than February in Michigan, and as the snow melts away, the Michigan Air Quality Division says it also exposes months of built-up dirt, road salt, and other pollutants trapped in snowbanks all winter long.
When all of these different pollutants and bioaerosols are released into the atmosphere because of this rapid snow melt, really puts people at a high health risk.
Dr. Elizabeth Pionk with McLaren Bay Region says the shift from snow to slush to dust can irritate your respiratory system.
It would be anything similar to shortness of breath, wheezing, coughing. It can sometimes even be increased sinus congestion or sinus drainage.
And people with asthma, COPD, and allergies, plus young children, older adults, and people with weakened immune systems are most at risk to feel the effects.
We recommend any of these populations or at-risk people to stay inside, avoid opening your windows. So it's very tempting to, let that fresh air in, but just remember, it's not necessarily fresh air. Utilizing HEPA filters in the home is really helpful too.
The air quality alerts also come during peak viral illness season, and some of the symptoms can look very similar.
It may be hard to distinguish between the two, but I would say those who are experiencing more of a viral illness may notice a low-grade fever or high fever, where those who may be having more of a respiratory component related to the air quality may not necessarily see that fever, but they're still going to be pretty parallel.
If you have to go outside,
Avoiding any type of exertional activity, where you're going to use your lungs and exert yourself more. And those at-risk groups, we actually recommend using a particulate mask, so something like an N95, at least during this time of the early snow melt.
Pionk tells TV5 if you live near a busy road or highway, you could see some of the worst air quality as those snowbanks hold the most pollutants.
And winter storm watches have been issued for our northern counties for the possibility of a wintry mix on Wednesday morning. Seems like icing is the main concern for now, where we could see up to 1/10 to 1/4 of an inch of ice. I would say 1/10 would be most likely, but still a worst case scenario could be a little bit higher than that. As we take a look at the winter storm severity index, it highlights areas that could be a little worse off than others. The areas that are shaded in orange are more of a moderate impact, and what that means is not only could we see road conditions deteriorate, but these are also the areas that may be a little bit more prone to power outages and things like that if enough ice accumulates. So there is still some shifting ongoing with that storm track. Could go a little bit more to the north, and that could push more regular rain a little bit farther to the north as well, but it's still close enough for us to pay attention to for the time being, so we want you aware of that. A look outside at downtown Saginaw tonight. Things are dry outside of the dampness on some of the streets. We've had some fog the last couple of mornings. I think we could have that later tonight and again tomorrow. Your first alert pinpoint Doppler radar is also dry for now. Had some thunderstorms move through northern Michigan earlier today. Those are now moving off to the east. They've quickly moved over Lake Huron, and they're well into Ontario now, so they did not waste any time at all moving across the state earlier this afternoon. Hour by hour as we go through tonight shows increasing clouds, I think increasing areas of fog as well. So tomorrow much more gray than today, and there may be an occasional glimpse of the sun on Tuesday, but we expect primarily cloudy skies. We're dry though, and we expect Tuesday to be pretty quiet other than the fog. I do think it's worth noting that there could be a little fog that lingers near the lakeshore as we go through the day. It could be a little stubborn there compared to areas that are further inland. As we go into Tuesday night, we expect that wintry mix to move across the state, I think primarily around midnight and after. But notice your temperatures a little bit farther to the south. They never drop below freezing. So our southern communities do not have to worry about any of this. And even in areas like Saginaw, Midland, Bay City, you should warm up quickly enough to where this is not expected to be a major issue for you on Wednesday. Even some of these areas like Clare, Gladwin, and Standish should come up fairly efficiently through the morning too. Those northern counties where the watches are, they will take just a little bit longer. And some of these temperatures that you see on this model right here may be even a little bit slower than what is actually expected to happen. So we'll see if this adjusts tomorrow and if there's something that we need to pay attention to within the model itself, or if it's just running a little bit behind. But we do expect most of the area to dry out for the afternoon too, and even those areas again warm up a little bit more, so we shouldn't have to worry about this being a prolonged issue. Now I think this will tell the best story here. We expect mainly rain further to the south, the light shade of pink in the middle. That is where we could see just a brief glaze of freezing rain before things warm up enough. It's those areas that are shaded in dark pink that have the best chance to pick up between about 1/10 to 1/4 of an inch of ice. I would say the northernmost counties probably have the best chance over Gladwin or Standish, but if that shifts a little bit further to the south, we want you aware of that. Your hour-by-hour forecast on Friday shows another system that could come through. That one primarily rain in the morning. The difference between this system and the one on Wednesday, there could be some colder air that wraps around the back side of it, which could lead to some snow showers on Friday night going into Saturday. So we'll watch that one closely too. Your forecast for the next 7 days shows temperatures will likely stay above average for much of this week. We're in the 30s this weekend and likely feeling more like late February, early next week.
Thank you, Chris. As we count down to America's 250th birthday, we're highlighting what happened on this day in history. Back in 1954, WNEM TV5 went on the air for the very first time. The broadcast was filmed in a studio at Flint Bishop Airport. The show featured a tour of the studio and a look at the broadcast equipment being used.
All new tonight, what started as a spontaneous offer between two strangers turned into a sisterhood between 13 brides. How a single wedding dress did it all in tonight's Can't Miss Moment on the news at 10 on the Great Lakes Sports and Entertainment Network.
Then on TV5 News at 11, find out how commissioners in Bay City stand on a resolution aimed at immigration enforcement efforts.
Also at 11, the president suggests canceling the midterms, why his allies dismiss his comment and why his opponents do not. If you want to hear more about the weather, head on over to our digital live stream at 9 o'clock tonight. You can join that stream at WNEM.com, on the TV5 YouTube and Facebook pages, on our Roku and Fire Stick channels, and on the TV5 News app. Thanks for watching WNEM Evening Extra. Of course, keep up with us as the news breaks online, on our app, or on social media.
We'll see you on TV5 at 11.